So in Project Zomboid, the locations are a big part of the game. You gotta strategize where you want to go loot and make a home based on how much loot there is and how many zombies are going to be around. So knowing the locations and knowing how good they are compared to others is an important aspect of Project Zomboid, and that's why today I'm going to be ranking all the locations in Project Zomboid. But first, if you want to help support the channel and help us on our road to 50k subscribers, please go down and hit that subscribe button, it would be a huge help. But now, onto the ranking. So first, what qualifies as a location? Technically, this random cabin in the woods is a location, but obviously I'm not going to rank it because, like, who the fuck cares? I care. Shut the fuck up. So for a location to be ranked, it has to be named on the Zomboid map and has to have at least a few buildings. So the trailer park above Muldraugh will be ranked because it's named Dixie and has multiple buildings, but the military base won't be ranked because it's a singular building and it has no official name, and also it just fucking sucks. And on the map I found 10 locations that I'll be ranking, so that works out perfectly. So we're going from worst to best, and the worst location in Project Zomboid for me is March Ridge. I fucking hate March Ridge. The only reason people go here is because they missed the turn to go to Rosewood. It's filled with a bunch of residential buildings that all look the exact same, and the only semi-interesting building is the dormitory, which has some decent loot. But there are just so many zombies, and honestly, it really just isn't worth it for me, so I'm gonna put March Ridge as an F tier location and in 10th place. Next, we have Dixie. Now, Dixie is just kinda boring. All there is a bunch of trailer homes and a bunch of zombies. It's right by Muldraugh, so you might as well just skip this location and go straight there if you want any decent loot. And yeah, that's really all I have to say about this place. It's just kinda meh, so it's going in 9th place. For 8th place, we have Doe Valley. For those who don't know, Doe Valley is technically this whole area here, but this location has another name, and all this stuff is just boring farmland, so for this video, I'll be saying that this place is Doe Valley. Now, this town is very small, but it has a military store and not a lot of zombies, which bumps it up above the last two locations. Besides that, there really isn't much else, but it's a little cute town, so if you want to live here far away from the larger zombie-infested towns, this place may be for you. Next is Valley Station, which again is more like an area of land on the map rather than a specific location. It's basically this whole area below Louisville, and the main reason it's 7th place is because of the mall here. There is an insane amount of zombies, but also a good amount of loot, so it may be worth it for those skilled at fighting large groups of zombies. But besides that, the only real reason people go here is because they need to go through it to get to Louisville, so it isn't all that great of a location. Now in 6th place, we have West Point, the first of the spawn locations on this list. Now some may be confused why West Point is so low on the list, and I have a good reason. I have died here a lot. Like probably more than any other location because this place is filled to the brim of zombies. Like I get it, this place has really good loot, but sometimes the risk just isn't worth the reward, and when it comes to this town, that is very true. Now one thing I do really like about West Point is the location. It's right by the river and it's the closest spawn location to Louisville, but the danger levels in this town are just too high for me, and that's why it's here on my list. Now halfway through we have Muldraugh in 5th place. I put Muldraugh in 5th before I ranked any other location because this is just a bang average location, so it's perfect for 5th place. It isn't bad and it isn't great. The loot here is decent but not amazing. The zombie population is medium, not too high, but there is still a good amount of zombies wandering around. And it's right in the middle of the map. This is the first place I spawned in when I first started the game, and I would recommend it to other beginners. It's more difficult to survive in than Rosewood, but it's still possible even for the newbies. And once you get better at the game, it's still a good place to go because it's a decent size of a decent amount of loot. And that's really all there is to say, it's just a bang average town. Now we're moving into the upper half of the next 4 locations all being very good. Starting off, we have Rosewood. Rosewood is the perfect beginner town. It's a small spawn location, meaning not only are there fewer zombies, but it's also easier to learn the layout of the town. It has some decent base locations, and for those who want more of a challenge, the prison is just a short drive away. I have hundreds of hours in this game and I still love the spawn here. For a small location, it has a decent amount of looting spots, the police station for guns, fire station for tools, school and bookstore for books, and a pharmacy for meds. It's definitely the easiest place to spawn, and if you're still learning the game, I 100% recommend this town. Next, we're moving on to Louisville. Now, some may have expected I would put Louisville in first, but that's not the case. This location is the largest in the entire map and will most likely remain that way for the entire future of this game. It has everything you can imagine, so once you come here, there really is no reason to leave. But the reason Louisville is in 3rd place is the same as why West Point was in 6th. There are just so many zombies. But unlike West Point, here the risk may be worth the reward just because of the insane amount of loot here. But this place is definitely an endgame location. Many people probably have never even traveled to Louisville, even with dozens of hours in the game. So this location is one of the best for sure, but for me it just isn't the best. To 2nd place, we have a location that I have some bias towards. For those who have watched this channel for a while, you probably already know why, but for those who don't know, I made a video on this location before, and when I looked up the name for it, it had like 4 different names pop up, so I ended up just claiming it for myself and calling it Speville. I think the official name is like Ekron or something, but we don't call it that anymore. So did I put this location in 2nd only because of the name? Well, possibly, yes. But it actually is a good location even without the name. It's right in the middle of 3 out of the 4 spawn towns, and it's small enough so there aren't too many zombies. It has a decent amount of loot for its size, and there's a pond on the edge of the town for a water source. And it's called Speville. I mean, like, what more do I gotta say? So finally, the best location on the Project Zomboid map. First place goes to Riverside. So imagine West Point, but less zombies. That's literally what Riverside is. It's along the river, it has great loot, and it doesn't have too many zombies. It's just perfect. The only downside of this town is that it's kind of far away from everything, but in the next update that's going to be changing with some new locations popping up near Riverside, so that con will soon be gone. For me, this town is just a perfect spawn location. It has a zombie population of Muldraugh, the loot of West Point. Like, this town is just perfect, and as of right now, this is the main place I spawn when starting a new playthrough. But obviously, this is all subjective, and your rankings may be entirely different than mine. Except for Speville, that better be at least top fucking 3. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching, let me know in the comments what your favorite location is, and I will see you all in the next one.